From Henry Ford's first assembly line to Tesla's gigafactories, technological change has been a constant for the US auto industry. It's not just the car companies that have embraced new ideas like just-in-time manufacturing and advanced automation. Workers and unions in the Midwest, the heartland of US manufacturing, have come to terms with robots taking over tasks that humans once did. In the 24 years Chris Vital has worked in the auto sector, robots have been by his side from day one.
When I started my career in 1994, there were people who said, oh, all those jobs are going away. Robots are going to take your job away. And I heard this argument in 94, and here it is 24 years later, and I'm still here, and I'm hoping to make it another 6 years. You know, and I think the ones that come after me have probably got a career ahead of them too.
Like many auto workers, he feels more threatened by free trade than by automation. The opposite of what academics say have caused job losses in US manufacturing.
Change and technology are a constant. If I ever had a job that I thought I could get away from technology, I mean, that wouldn't exist. I think we view things like the trade policy as that's controlled by humans who are not always acting fairly. Probably a robot would act more fairly. So I think maybe that's the reason we don't feel as threatened. There isn't the unpredictability. The progress is linear. There's a chance to adapt to it. It's not going to come overnight and close down a plant or something like that. Even though if you looked at this from a 10-year or 20-year perspective, when I hired in, that factory was just teeming with people. And if I go back in there now, I feel there's areas that you could go in there and run a bowling ball down the middle of an aisle and not hit anyone. So it is different, but that's on a 20-year, 25-year scale.
Because automation has been around for so long, the industry now has a more mature and realistic view of how far it can go.
Automation has happened since Henry Ford brought in the moving assembly line. There were actually periods of time in, say, the 80s and 90s when we kind of went overboard on automation. There was a General Motors plant in Detroit, the Detroit Hamtramck plant, that they put a ton of automation in, and actually it went awry and they had to pull a lot of it out. We used to hear about these dark plants with no workers, but I think we have really realized that's not going to happen anytime soon. But what we have seen is automation used for helping the workers in terms of taking away some of the really difficult physical jobs and helping them in that way, but also to make plants more flexible, more efficient.
Strong unions have played a role in making sure that the change is gradual. DJ Marshall works for Ford as a manufacturing technician.
When you work for a union plant like the UAW, you worry less about that stuff just because there's more protections than just like a regular plant with just regular employment where you don't belong to a union, you know what I mean? You're usually informed of what's coming down, and it's nothing like tomorrow don't show up for work because we replace you with some robots. No.
For their part, car companies are at pains to reassure workers that they aren't racing ahead to incorporate the latest technology. Jeff Davis is an engineering manager at Honda's East Liberty auto plant.
AI for our manufacturing purposes definitely is not in our plan. All of our robotics are taught by a human and they are just repetitive. As long as the body is in the precise spot that it has to be in, the robot can go back in right to that precise spot. There's no auto learning, there's no auto tuning, no artificial intelligence there whatsoever. Robotics themselves actually help create jobs. We need high technical skill people to be able to teach the robots, to be able to control the robots, and to troubleshoot the robots when they go down.
As artificial intelligence and software robots start to threaten white-collar professions like lawyers and accountants, Chris Vital, who makes prototypes in Chrysler's R&D lab, says the key to staying a step ahead is to keep learning new skills.
It's the longest learning curve on a job that I've ever had, and I'm still learning. Robots have gotten more reliable. So you really can't count on one breaking down. But you can count on one to break down often enough that it's opened up a whole career path into the repair.
Detroit's long history of automation shows that even if machines can technically do many of the jobs that are now done by humans, the reality is that adoption can be slow and uneven. There's still a lot that human workers can do to adapt in the meantime. Robin Kwong, Financial Times, Detroit.